Any music?
Well, you're not going to hear the music.
I don't hear any music. Is there still music? Are we live?
No, we're not live.
Oh,
No,
we're not?
no, we're not live.
What was that whole streamy thingy then?
Well, what streamy thingy?
The thingy that was streaming on the screen.
Oh. Hey, Proctor, we're live.
Oh, hey, here we are. Howdy.
Yes, we're here.
Can you not have my face on there? Because I'm so delayed, it's making me feel...
Oh, you don't want your face?
No, I'm ugly enough as it is.
Okay, you know.
Hi, I'm Michael Proctor, Clever Crow, Reaper ToolBox. Is that
Yes,
what we call it?
that's what we're
Reaper
calling it.
ToolBox. Let's do it.
I already ran the intro, so you don't have to.
We don't have to do another. We're not doing.
No,
an
we're not
intro.
doing another intro. But I will cut to.
Hashtag not professionals.
Bingo.
Carries over to this as well.
Yes.
All right, so Reaper ToolBox. I have not seen one of these before, so I'm not really sure what happens. But we're going to talk about painting. I'm going to show you a couple of miniatures that I'm working on. We're going to work a little bit on the River Troll, a little bit. I had a lot of requests about my little dots and dashes and textures and stuff that I like to paint. So I want to show that off a little bit. A couple of miniatures from, we just did the, what was the Pizza Dungeon Party on Saturday with the Kickstarter wrap up, right?
That's what it was, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So a couple of miniatures, I don't know, you could see it on,
Let me back it up a little bit. There
back
you
it up
go.
a little bit.
Oh,
This is
bingo.
one of the Dragon Folk that I did one of Julie Guthrie's levels. There were 6 of those. Hello, Scott Bale. See, I actually paid attention to the screen there for a second.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, right. And so there's that, and then also one of the rune rights, right? Something like that.
Rune whites?
Rune rights.
What rights or whites?
Rights. I
thought it
think
was with a W.
like a wraith, but a right. I don't know, something like that. And then this is what I've been working on the past couple of days. Is one of the larger size mouselings, and you can see how big the mouseling has changed from what the scale has gone to. He says almost, I mean, he's a good size comparison to the River Troll, and then your standard kind of 32 millimeter figure, 30 millimeter figure. He's pretty good size as well. That's kind of cool. He's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to finishing him up, and I've been asking for the rest of them. I have move my hand so it's not covering it. So, but what we're going to go over today is one of the River Trolls. Well, the River Troll, I guess. There's the one that was popping out of the water, right? His head's kind of in the muck.
Yeah,
But this is the only full-on one.
Correct.
So there's the back of the troll.
Which is technically this is the female troll.
This
correct?
is is there one?
Listen, I don't know. Isn't that a Bobby question?
That's a Bobby question. I just paint them. I don't see. There's no identifying parts for male or female. So I don't know why you even brought it up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Then. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
So-
know what I'm talking about.
So yeah, bridge encounter and wraith versus white.
So it is white.
White. I don't know.
There's no R.
Right?
White.
Okay,
White.
whatever. So what I like to do is, if you've seen some of my dot textures class or some of my miniatures I posted up on Clever Crow, I like to do a lot of additional textures with skin, especially large monsters kind of stuff. So I'll take my paint and wet it down, probably 1:1, and in front here you'll see a paper towel, and then I get it fairly wet. We'll dump some water on it, and this is to help control the tip of the brush to keep me from putting paint on my hand, and also just kind of get a little bit better control. So I'll grab a little bit on the brush and then put some on the miniature, maybe control the tip a little bit and just get a nice surface coverage. And what I'm doing, you'll see I'm just grabbing a bunch of different colors and applying it and trying to get a good surface thing, because I'm going to have a bunch of dots in here, so it's going to add confusion, a little texture, a little interest.
What's your water to paint ratio there? It's probably a complicated question, but
It is. I used to really do super diluted, but I've found recently I like to just add a little bit of water. This is probably 1:1 right here. And then when I'm controlling the tip a little bit, it's taken a little water from the paper towel, so it's probably a little bit more than 1:1. And then I'll even take some of this blue color and put it into here, make it a little bit thicker.
and you are known for using lots of colors to achieve kind of really, I guess, let's say, crazy awesome results. Why is that, actually?
Why is that? It's it's a little bit of a distraction. It's a little bit of if I just painted with a couple of colors, to me it would be really boring. And also, I don't know. I like to blend. I like to do the transitions and stuff. But also, a lot of times it's fun to add a bunch of different colors. It actually distracts, adds some more interest to it. So, if you have chickens. I do. I've seen a lot of like it's and yay no.
No.
A lot of chicken discussion going on.
No. Let's
All right, let's not talk about chickens.
Let's not do that.
I just started reading it without reading it first, right? That was kind of probably the mistake.
That frequently gets Ed and Ron and everyone else on the show.
Well, you're the pro here.
Pro, define that. That's short for, like. I got nothing. That's it. I got nothing. I tried.
Colin stepped in for a second, but then he walked out. Isn't he like what was his title?
I don't know. It changes here regularly.
Okay.
We see a job that needs done, and we do it.
Okay.
That could be anybody at any moment.
Okay.
We're all kind of interchanged, especially in the video department.
Okay.
He and I will definitely do each other's things because we got to get the job done.
Right. So how many people are paying attention right now, or at least have it on?
It looks like there's no one in chat.
No one in chat?
No one's watching this.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I don't blame them, but...
Oh, well,
I'm just
should
kidding.
we just stop?
I love you, Proctor. No, keep going. I want to watch it. It's just for me at this point.
Just for you? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you learning anything?
No, I'm so bad that even this won't help me.
I've seen your paint jobs.
Really? What are they on? Like, what did you see?
Well, you've shown them to me. You did some of those, that other company stuff.
Let's not talk about that. Let's not do that. I mean, they're okay. What I already notice about the way you do this is I've seen half the troll covered, and it's in all different greens, but it looks as if you've almost effortlessly blended all those colors together to me. I only know they're different because I watched you do it.
Well,
it's kind of interesting to me.
This is a kind of a similar technique to what people talk about with wet blending, and I live in Colorado where it's extremely dry, so I'm used to just throwing on a ton of paint because it dries really super quickly. It's actually a little bit easier here where it's humid to do this wet blending. You'll see that I'm actually coming over and kind of transitioning a little bit of the tans right here. And I'll clean all this up, but I'm really trying to get a nice base coat that's a little bit on the dark side. Dark as in dark, not dark as in dark. You know what I mean?
No, I have no idea.
Like dark side, not like Star Wars, but like dark in pigment. But not dark as in like approach in life kind of thing.
You really overestimate my understanding and ability to paint. I'm not kidding. I still block paint stuff. That's basically the only way I paint.
Okay.
It's a shame too.
All right. So I'm right now. Is bruised purple a color that's out? I think it is.
Is it?
I like bruised purple a lot. I like greens and blues and purples. That's probably kind of my go-to colors a lot. But they're good to throw in. And what I try to do too is if you see there's blues and greens working together, the blues and greens are pretty much close in tonal range. Wow, they look really shiny on the TV.
It's probably that bright light you got there.
Yeah, it could be. It's also pretty wet too. I'll talk a little bit while it's drying. And then throwing in some of the yellows with that. And yellow and purple kind of contrast with each other. And then the yellow can work against the blue as well. So that adds a little color interest as well. So we talk a lot, if anybody's ever, here's a little tip, I guess. Anybody ever talks about contrast? So you need more contrast, you need more contrast. Everything is not just light and dark contrast, but color contrast as well. How can you add contrasting colors? Say, not a red with a green, but a red with an off green, or a red with a yellow, a blue with a yellow, whatever. Those give you a contrast, and that pops it a little bit more.
And now I do know contrast because I do have a background as a photographer, of course. Yeah. And you do too, as well, right?
Mm-hmm. I do.
So that's one of those things where you you see that sort of stuff, and it does laterally apply, at least in contrast. Because colors are colors are colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
And it not only contrast is in light and dark, but contrast as in different, pigments, contrasting colors and what have you, and contrast of intensity of pigments. Say you want to use a color that is, for instance, all right, this color right here, can you see it on the palette? The teal? That's super saturated blue, right?
you want to come to the corner of the palette there, or tilt your palette maybe if you can. Get it closer.
God. Okay, so can you see right here? All right, so here's this teal, all right? There we go, look at that. And then we have a desaturated green next to it. That's even a darker green. So these colors, this blue and this green, can contrast with each other, and then these can contrast with each other, and then the three will add even more interest in contrast with each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You think? I think so.
It does to me. I mean,
Yeah.
when you create those anything that catches the eye because they're so different, that's essentially contrast, right?
Yeah.
I mean, whether that's done with...
Bruised Purple is in the Kickstarter 5 paint set. Got to wait a while to use it. Yeah, it's cool. It's awesome. I think there was some Bruised Purple that was at ReaperCon. Maybe that's why I have it.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, but it's pretty darn cool. So we're gonna throw some of that in as well. Ooh, Carnival Purple is also in the Kickstarter, Bones 5 Kickstarter. If you guys haven't got that color alone, to me personally, is worth that whole paint set. It's a great color.
Oh, Silverthorn has Bruised Purple as well.
Yeah. Did he get it at the Kickstarter? I mean, at ReaperCon?
I'm gonna go ahead and assume that's where it came from.
All right, cool. Are we giving anything away today?
Not today or tomorrow even.
Oh.
I have a bunch of giveaways to catch up on still.
Ah.
But we are giving away some stuff.
Well, we did have this
Thursday?
thing called Kickstarter going on, right? And all
We
your
did.
various Reaper Lives. Were you doing giveaways during the Kickstarter updates, or was
Not
that
the
only Reaper
updates.
Lives?
No, none of the updates. Just the party.
Yeah, okay.
We gave away a bunch of the rose gold, actually.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a fun party.
Speaking of rose gold, have you had a chance to paint with that yet?
I have not. And I do a lot of work with metallics. I just have been, since I've been here, I worked a little on PDD and a little bit on the mouse lane. And the mouse lane I've been doing in non-metal metals. So let me do just a tiny bit more work here.
So you do specialize in metallics, right? Or like that's one of your things?
Yeah, that's one of the things I like to teach at ReaperCon and stuff. And a lot of the classes that I teach, there's not a lot of people that do it. And it can be as easy or as hard, just like any kind of painting, as you want it to be. As easy or as involved, I should say, not necessarily hard, to get some nice shading. We did that one video that a while back when we were first starting to do these videos. You know that shaded metallics video we did where the miniature was out of frame the whole time?
Oh, yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
You remember that one?
I remember that. That was
You remember
great.
that one? Hashtag professional kind of
Oh,
thing?
man. That was one of the worst ones. Hey, but you know what? Growing pains, am I right?
Right, growing pains, right? You had to learn. You're cutting your teeth, right?
Yeah,
So.
I've filmed many a wedding and things like that where it's usually stationary, but following you painters around when you're painting is like...
So am I all over the place right now? Am I doing better?
No, you're doing much
Alright,
better
cool.
than in the past.
Cool. Sorry I'm late, Animal. I'm not late, you're late, but thanks for joining.
No hashtag free, hobo.
No hashtag free, unfortunately. I was hoping that there was. I mean, we could find something to give away, maybe.
Can you give away stuff as Clever Crow?
Oh, I don't have anything.
Hey, you should give away snowballs from Colorado. You still have snow, right?
But how would I mail it?
Hey, that's on you to figure out logistically, man. I don't know. But I'm sure they would take some.
Yeah.
There you go. Hashtag free paint tips.
Hashtag free paint tips. That's what we're doing.
So because you live up in the mountains in Colorado, right? That the air is thinner, so does that mean it dries faster?
It's more of the humidity in the air.
It's really just the humidity. Okay.
It's a lot drier in Colorado. Colorado's more, you don't think about it, but it's high desert. So it's
Really?
super dry. I mean, it's like almost as low in humidity as Arizona wise, and
That's
New
crazy to
Mexico
me.
and stuff. Yeah, you don't think of it, and they consider up in the mountains, even where all the resorts are and everything, is kind of more high desert than your conifer forest like you think of with ferns and everything. That's more like Washington State and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
Because
not.
Washington State's kind of humid, right?
I guess
Or
a little
it's
bit. It's closer to
more.
the ocean, so I think it's more humid in parts. Same thing with Oregon, but you get into eastern Oregon, it's very dry.
What about where Weeby lives? Is it humid there?
Yeah, I think it's a little more dry out in Tacoma, but
Ah.
I haven't been there. But those are really good questions.
I assumed you had just been to all of these sculptors slash painters' houses.
No, Gene Van Horn. We live about 20 minutes, 30 minutes from each
And
other.
I did not know. I'm ashamed to admit this. I
Yeah.
did not know that until like yesterday or
Oh,
2 days
really?
ago. Yeah, I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. He's my roommate when we come and do these cons and everything, or these wrap-up parties or other kind of Reaper functions or um, Kickstarter stuff or Reaper cons.
That's really cool. Do you
Yeah.
guys carpool to the airport too?
We do. We did this time. Most of the time we do. But I'm like, for instance, but on the way back, I'm flying back tomorrow, and he's flying back on Wednesday.
Oh no.
Let's get back to work.
Oh, do you guys often do you sit next to each other on the plane as well, or do
No.
you just kind of?
No. He sits first class because he's big time. I sit in just general area.
Wow, that's crazy. Because
Isn't he? Yeah.
I thought you made millions, Proctor.
Oh, I don't make no.
Billions, even.
Yeah, that's I don't know what would have made you think of that.
I don't know. I figured all you big time painters.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, miniature painting isn't paying the bills, at least not for me. There's those folks out there that can make a living at it, but no, I have a real I mean, not that miniature painting or painting is not a real job, but I have more of your traditional
Corporate
kind of,
type job.
yeah, real world-ish kind of job.
Do you like talking about your real world job?
No, not really,
Oh, really?
because that's my real world job, and this is my fun time, my dork time.
Dork time. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
that's-
meant in a positive, meant in a total positive manner. I mean, I think dork time is fun. I think we should all embrace. More people should embrace their inner dork instead of reject it. Have a lot more fun, be a little more easygoing.
I agree.
Yeah.
For me, the extent of that is basically playing Pathfinder on Tuesdays.
Yeah. You've
Well,
never
and
played D&D
video-
with us or
video
anything when
games.
we play.
No, I have not, and I've heard multiple times about this particular type of D&D.
Yes.
That's where what is it the funnel where you have like 5 characters to start off with, and you will lose most of them, and then you keep. that
Oh
one,
God,
and-
what's that? Yeah, we don't play it. So Kevin Williams, staff sculptor here at Reaper, sculpted some really cool stuff. The big thing that he did at the end, Shogoth or Shog, I don't know, one of those.
Yes.
Yeah, he sculpted that. It is so awesome. I called dibs on that, so hopefully I'll get a chance to paint it. I'm getting to my technique here soon, everybody. So what I'll do a lot of times, and you'll see, I'm kind of just focusing on this half of the miniature, right? And I haven't done anything over here really. I will do what I'm doing on this half on the entire miniature and get a base coat of various colors on a big monster with lots of open skin area like this. This will typically be how I paint it. Now, if I'm at home and I have my airbrush, it's a lot of focus, right?
Shift a little bit.
Still a little wet.
There we go.
Yeah. So I need to exaggerate how I'm turning it. Okay. Yeah, it's weird. So I will, probably a lot of times I use the airbrush to kind of block it out. And I use Reaper paints for airbrushing as well. I dilute it a little 1-to-1, a little water, a little alcohol, 90%. I use propol or something like that, and cut it with water and mix it in. And generally 1-to-1, maybe a little bit more. and try to get some, just block out some base coats and stuff. And it's really in a similar technique than what I was doing here. So, no, I'm only painting half for this example. I would normally paint the whole thing and then start doing it. I'm just painting half, so you're not watching me paint the whole base coat in the hour that we have for the show, or what, hour and a half, whatever we do. So yeah. So do a little bit more. And then while I'm doing some of the blending, I'll come in with a brighter, more intense kind of color with a little bit lighter, right? And start picking out some highlight areas. And I can do that both. Can you see my palette when I'm doing that? Probably not.
No, I'm punched in on the troll real close.
Okay. So here's where we'll start. Am I blocking that?
No, you're actually good.
Okay.
Oh, that's stippling. Okay, I see.
So it's kind of just creating some additional interest with the skin. So we can sit here and try to do and work on a bunch of various blends and make it all super buttery smooth. I don't think a big troll is going to have smooth skin regardless of their sex, right? Since there was discussion on that earlier. So I'll start adding a bunch of little dots. And trying not to make them uniform. The brush I'm using is a Winsor Newton Series 7 miniature series. Size 0. So it's not necessarily the smallest brush. I think sometimes it's easy to fall into the trap of getting a tiny little brush thinking that you're going to paint all this great little detail. I think the bigger the brush, the biggest brushes you can use while you're painting, the more effective the results are going to be. And the more you can hold paint into the tip of the brush, because it's all about the tip. And that's where you should be delivering most of the paint, especially in a kind of a stippling technique. And then what I did was kind of do almost a mid-tone pattern a little bit, and then I'm coming back, and I just came back and added some highlights. But if I come back in and then go back to that other color, other kind of mid-tony green, and pop that in, some of it's going to bleed into the existing base coat since I use that color, but then some is going to read through as modeled skin, a pattern within the skin as well. And this technique is good, super good to practice on large skin monsters like this. But you can take this and you see what I'm doing right here. I'm going to replace it really quick with the mouseling guy, and you can see a lot with his, can you see that with the coat? Yeah, see with his coat, that adding just a little bit more texture. Now there's not that texture on his coat, but I wanted a little more Clint Eastwood kind of vibe, even though he's got a sword. And a little bit started on the hat as well, just adding a little more texture pattern to it too. And it's a process that takes a little time, it's a little more fun, takes a little bit more kind of work to keep cleaning up and keep working on him. But yeah, it's a little bit kind of like a pointillism thing, a little bit, I just call it dots and dashes and whatnot. Is that how I got the swirling effect on the Merkler? Yes. I used a lot of different slashes, less points on Merkler, more of dashes and lines across, and different lines on top of different lines.
Is this how you do all texture, Proctor? Like this? Just this way?
Yeah, lately, yeah. I mean, if you talk to me next year, I'll be doing probably something different. I like to try to keep doing different things, but it'll be something like this, but probably a little bit more evolved or adjusted or something.
What did you do when you first started painting?
What did I do when I first started painting? Painted horribly?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's everyone, but
Yeah. Oh, what did I do when I first started painting? We have that.
oh, yes, we do.
Right?
Yes, we do.
So this was on a Reaper Live, like one of the, I don't know, episode 7 or 8 or whatever. And this is a old heritage miniature from the 80s. Like this was like probably 82, 83 that I painted this. And so he was one of my favorites. He was one of my characters. And then my other character was this little elf ranger. And I play an elf ranger the few times a year we play D&D now. So yeah, this is my first couple ones, and painted. The eyes look, everything is horrible. But it's clear, you know, that's back when you would just coat it down in clear gloss varnish and everything. Yeah, so I brought those up and just left them here. So if you're just starting and you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to get there. Yeah, you get there. It just takes time and practice. And then so what we did a little bit, I'm going to add a couple more dots, and we're going to do, and then in the middle of it all, there's these little, he's got these little warts. So you see I have some purple in here. If I can bring it back up, it helps kind of unify, why does he have purple and yellow in his skin down here? Would it only just be here? No, it'd probably bleed up into different areas of his skin as well, and to kind of add a little more interest back into it. And then we see his skin. We have a raised shoulder here, so normally we're thinking of kind of a highlight area, and then it comes back into some shadow areas where his neck his shoulder goes into his neck. So we need to make that just a little bit darker. So I'll come back in with some blue liner. So blue liner, if anybody ever asked, and sometimes they do, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite color, paint-wise? Blue liner. Blue liner is so useful in so many different ways. Why is that? That helps with adding that contrast to really pop, get that dark, deep shadow. So we think of, okay, we got to get a shadow. We got to get black in there, right? Well, black is good, but black is absence of color, right? So blue liner is black, but it also has dark blue in it. So you talk about temperature of color. Cold colors recede, warm colors advance. So a blue liner I find is a lot more effective in adding dark, deep, hidden lines. And I'll show this a little bit in, if you can see it, in the Wraith King here. See with his armor, he's got the highlights. And then right underneath I have a really dark blue line, and that's helped selling those plates. If that line wasn't there, then it would just read from plate to plate. So I was given some feedback at the post Kickstarter party, and I think that's the -- feedback that I like to give. And it was feedback that Jen Haley gave to me when I was starting to try to get better and started practice. I showed her a bunch of miniatures, and this was at Genghis Khan in Colorado. And the #1 thing, she looked at a bunch of stuff and she goes, of course, you need to work on your brush control. You just need to get better, paint more miniatures. But the tip that she gave me that really popped my, I don't know, ability a little bit more was start lining stuff out. And the reason why it'll help you with your contrast, we don't have lines. I don't have a line on my t-shirt or on my hat or anything like that. But when we shrink down these life-size things down to really super small, 30 millimeters, we need to add that contrast. And everybody talks about getting higher highlights, but the deeper shadow portion is probably more important because you can really pop in there. And a trick, too, is, especially for some of the studio models, I may paint an area that I know is not going to get photographed really dark. And that'll help pop an area that I know really needs to be photographed and really be interesting. So I'll work on that. And then you can see kind of with this guy, even though he's just had a few minutes, he got a little out of focus there.
Come away, there you go.
Ah, okay. So if I'm there, that's better, right?
Yep.
So you'll see even just with the light use of some of the dots. And now I probably should bring some of these dots a little bit higher up here now that I hold them down. And that's the key thing too, is as you're working, you're going to be all up in the miniature's grill as you're painting on it, but take a break and put it away from you and kind of go, all right, how is this working? How are my highlights being placed here? So take a break, you know, set it back, put it at arm's length, and kind of look at it that way. And then you kind of say, oh, okay, this is kind of working. No, this isn't working at all. So I'm going to take that advice I just gave and apply it to this.
Thanks for the sub, Briad30. By the way, we got a sub.
Do I get
Proctor?
anything from that?
Do you? I mean,
What happens when
you get a thank you.
Ah, thank you. What is a sub?
Sub is a subscription,
Okay.
which is to the channel.
Oh, I think I'm subscribed. Am I?
You know what? I don't know.
Okay.
Next time you're in chat, we'll see.
All right.
Also, I'm going to go ahead and do the gift bomb now from
Okay.
earlier because it was from the previous group of people.
All right, so let me do a little bit more, and I want to show a quick kind of technique to bring it all together. 'Cause some of you are probably going, you know, that's kind of cool, but I still see all these little dots, and it's not really kind of reading in together. It does take a little bit of work to kind of bring them together, but I'm going to show a trick here in just a second. I want to work it a little bit more. So use a what is referred to sometimes as a wash, sometimes as a glaze, and for the purposes of this little show, there I'll demonstrate the difference between a wash or I'll talk about a difference between a wash and a glaze. A wash to me is more of a overall super diluted color all over the entire miniature, and while that can be helpful to a miniature, you don't really have a lot of control. A glaze is taking a color very thinned out like a wash and really applying it to a select area to try to get a color transition with that. So and I like to use a really kind of darkish saturated color. And apply it over the surface, and that'll help hide and help with the transition of some of those dots. And then I can even come in, and since we have some purple down below, we're going to have more, I can add some of that purple as a different transition layer in here, and then even come in, and I got a little too much there, but all I got to do is clean off my brush, get it nice and wet, and I could still move it around.
Oh, thank you for the raid, C-Nut.
I'm using Inzrin Blue, which is one of the Pathfinder colors. It's just a super intense pigment. If you guys have picked up over the years the clear colors, the Reaper clears, the blues, the purples, the magentas, those are super awesome for doing glazes. They're really deep, rich pigment. I can't see it on the screen. How do I get this blue?
You're going the right way.
I'm going the right way.
Yeah. Keep going.
Right, let's keep
going.
playing that
There we
game,
go.
right? So here's that Ezrin Blue, super diluted, right? And so I'll take some of that, bring it back into this guy, and even just with them a little bit of dots, it'll help with that transition and sell a little bit more. Can you see that?
Yes, back it up some.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
So that's kind of interesting. Adds a little bit more interest to it. Adds a little bit more play to it. So we got rated. Are we still being rated?
Yeah, they're C-Not rated us. He's actually in chat right now.
Okay.
He just commented that he should get one of the wet palettes. He
Yes.
does a lot of the. I think you've been with us when we rated him.
Okay.
He does a lot of the huge sculpting.
Ah.
Like he does some really big, particularly his Hobbit diorama.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's extra cool.
Can you show me that afterwards? I want to see that. I love all
Uh,
the Lord of the Rings stuff, and
I think he had. Oh, thank you, Miniatures Den. There's another raid of 89 people.
wow.
We now have 300 plus people in here, Proctor.
Wow, I'm nervous now.
You should be
I
nervous.
should be nervous.
No, I think he has it on his Instagram. If
Oh,
you
yeah?
see not, if you're still in here, is it in your? Is it on your Instagram? If not, you hop into his channel next time you're on and
Oh, yeah, totally.
ask him, and he'll tell him it's you,
Yeah.
Proctor, and he should put it together for you.
I'm
Let
Clever
you see
Crow Studio on Instagram. If you're on and you want to like me, so I can't, so it's easier for me to find you. That'd be awesome. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, just Clever Crow Studio. I try to update as much as I can, and just post what I'm working on.
Yeah, and if you like what he's doing here, go ahead and let him know on his Facebook.
Yeah.
I think he appreciates the feedback.
Or tell me that I suck. That's fine.
Yeah, I was supposed to say he loves critique. Loves it.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I'm
So-
actually working on that right now, Boffin. Go ahead, buddy.
All right, so with the kind of got the shoulder a little bit, we can keep working on it. And what I'll do is I will continue to work on this. I did the other Bobby Jackson troll, the cave troll. That was, I think it was one of the Bones Black miniatures or something. It came out over the summer. I used that for a dot textures class in at ReaperCon. And so this was kind of what I was doing in the class. And it just takes, the more work you put in it, the more little dots you put in it, the more dots over dots that you put in it, adds that more interest. The thing that I would be careful with is I like to kind of use one-to-one paint, maybe a tiny bit thicker. I tried initially to add texture with the paint itself, and I really didn't find that it was all that successful. I'd rather more hint at the additional texture with the paint itself, and not trying to create layers with thicker paint.
I just linked your Facebook in chat, by the way.
Oh wow! Okay, cool.
Like your Michael Proctor one, not your Clever Crow.
No, you should do the Clever Crow
No,
one.
I'm kidding. That's the one that's the one I put in there. Now I'm going for your Instagram.
If you send me a friend request on my personal Facebook one, I'll accept it, but don't expect to see much miniature stuff. I keep that all on the Clever Crow thing.
He has some really cool mountain biking stuff, which maybe if you ask nicely, he'll talk about it. I know he loves his paint, but those mountain bikes are cool.
Yeah, thanks. I like to go ride. It's kind of the balance of everything, to get out and do something and to ride off the crazy a little bit, and then come back and paint and add a little more. So I add a little texture to the ear, add a little more interest to the ear, a little more flesh tones to the ear. Something we can tie in also with. He's got a crazy tongue. Can you see that? It's like two worms, right? It's got this giant split down the middle.
There is his Instagram right there, Clever Crow Studio.
Cool. Is there any questions or anything? Am I missing anything? These tips are helping me so much right now with my current project. Awesome. So, Avra, I'm awful. I think I'm worse than you at pronouncing names. Avralina Darnassus.
Yes.
Is that good? Thank you. This is my first little stream, so thank you. But did I miss anybody else? Wet palette. Wet palette. This is just a Masterson's wet palette. It's about, I don't know. I like the smaller one. Can we zoom out a little bit and show it?
Yeah.
Or just like you could just go to the main camera or something.
Oh, you want to show it there?
Yeah, just show it there. So the wet palette, there's big ones, like aircraft carrier big. I recommend the small one. And they come with the sponge, and they'll come with this wet palette paper. I'm not a big fan of the wet palette paper that you got to microwave and heat up. I like the just parchment paper. And you can get the Reynolds wrap. Don't have any stock in them or anything like that, but the Reynolds wrap parchment paper, and they come pre-folded in squares. That's approximately the right size for the wet palette. The sponge is a yellow sponge. Some people think that the yellow sponge kind of throws off their color. I guess I see that. and you can put some white paper towels underneath it and get all that wet, and that'll kind of take away from the yellow. I did that for a while, but that just became kind of, I don't know, too much work. So I just don't, too much planning. So I just stopped doing that. But yeah, you can get back in Zoom if you want. Let's add another color in. Let's try that, Dragon Red. So Dragon Red and Dragon Red. All right. It's kind of a darker, it's got a little bit intense of a pigment. But to add another interest layer in a glaze, and then bring in some of the purple as well. And what I'm doing, if anybody joined later, when is I'll start off with a multi-layered kind of base coat. A lot of times, if I'm not doing it, on the streaming thing, I would have used probably an airbrush to start off and get a good blocking in of colors. But then we'll come in and we'll try to build in some natural highlights and shadows with just the base colors, and that's strictly really just using contrasting colors to try to get a little bit more contrast and interest. And I'll add some white to
Trash Rama. I actually turned it off. I just had to turn it off again. It keeps turning itself back on for some reason.
What's that?
Our Bones 5 auto post Moobot link, which literally doesn't do any good because the Kickstarter is closed now.
Oh yeah, well, but the Pledge Manager's open forever, right?
Correct. So actually, really, what we need is links to the Pledge Manager.
Yeah.
So,
it just ended on Saturday. This is your first day back to work.
Yeah, actually, we were didn't have plans until later actually to stream, but since we decided to do this stuff today, I had to scramble to rerun my wires and stuff in the studio.
Yeah, you had it all set up out. Yes. A lot of people watching that whole Kickstarter wrap up.
We did. We actually hit a record number of 1,050, I think, is what we topped out at.
Really?
Which is our highest ever.
That's crazy.
It's a bunch of people. Thank you, everybody.
Crazy.
If you're in the chat now, thank you for watching.
Yeah, no doubt. It was fun here. I wish we could have had more people. We had a lot, though.
Oh, we did. And I'm sure people here probably enjoyed the Proctor mini
puppet show
cam,
the little puppet show.
Yes.
Did people know that was me doing that stupid stuff?
Oh, Jacob's in here again. Hey, Jacob. Matt, the stream schedule now looks like we'll be back tomorrow. Now, the ToolBox, and I'll put an announcement up on our Facebook and other things, but you can spread the word now. Our Reaper ToolBox episode tomorrow will be at 1 o'clock and not 1:30. And it won't have Ann. I'm not going to say who it has. It'll be a surprise.
I know.
You do know. Don't spoil the surprise. We actually originally were going to have Proctor there.
Yeah.
But he has to fly out tomorrow, so... or not tomorrow, it's Wednesday, it's the next stream. But he has to fly out tomorrow, so we couldn't have Proctor on Wednesday.
Oh, Ann really does it on...
I misspoke, Sipstorm, sorry. It's Wednesday, not tomorrow.
Not doing anything tomorrow?
My days are already messed up. No, tomorrow we are not. Actually, someone asked earlier about Ed's terrain premiere. That's probably not until the following Tuesday.
That'll be interesting.
Correct. Interesting is a great word for it. We'll see.
I know, right?
He's going to get out the big house brushes again. It'll be fun.
I heard about the house brush thing. I didn't see it. I wish I would have. I'm just getting a little more paint. Any questions?
Dave actually has a question.
Huh?
Dave has a question.
Dave's question is...
And forgive me because I'm not a painter. But
yes.
I see a bunch, when I'm watching on Twitch, I see people get paint on their paintbrush, and then they dab it on their hand, and you're not doing that.
Oh, I used to be a horrible offender of that. I mean, I would have paint all over my hands, get it on my face and everything. I learned a little trick with and all I was doing by using the hand was to add to control the tip of the brush. And then when Sergio was here, Sergio Calvo used a paper towel, wet it, and then that's how you control it. And so it keeps me from, even though Reaper paint is non-toxic and safe.
You're not a brush licker anymore?
I am not. I haven't 100% broken myself from brush licking. I'll occasionally kind of lick some brushes there and there.
There's a good question. That's a good question, actually.
How many bones have you broken? Not Reaper bones, your bones while mountain biking. Let's see. This finger, I broke it.
Your pinky?
My pinky finger. It won't go straight anymore.
Ooh.
This thumb, I broke this thumb, and that's it. Knock on wood. I haven't broke anything else. I've crashed pretty hard. I did separate my shoulder once.
Ooh.
But yeah, that's so far so good. Yeah.
Well, that is good. Yes, I agree.
Somebody did. It says I saw you like the brush earlier. I did lick the brush earlier, I'm sure. So that's why I'm not 100% non-brush licker. But I would recommend not licking the brush, even with Reaper paints that are non-toxic.
Look, we keep hammering that home.
Yeah. So, can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So like I did some glazes on it, and I'll come back in and then continue to work a little bit more. And then even reglaze over it yet again. So you're adding a bunch of different layers of skin, giving it some translucent, some opaque, just to kind of add just a little bit more. I don't know. When I took Sergio's class, one word he kept using, which stuck with me, and I want to give him full credit on the word, and is adding information. A lot of what you see he does, and if you guys are looking for a Patreon to support on painting, he's great. He's just one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and he's just a fantastic painter, and he paints very loose, fast, very creative. I would like to grow up one day and paint as well as him. So he's great. If you guys are looking for somebody, there's a lot of people out there to support. I'm not directing you away from anybody, but he's somebody good to take a look at.
Yeah, he was great when we did the film of him.
Yeah.
When we put it up to YouTube, it was great because he was kind of a natural at it, because you could tell that he paints really well.
Yeah.
But he also films all the time. So
yeah.
It was kind of second nature for certain things for him.
So you're saying that I'm
not at all. I'm saying, Proctor, I will say this: you are one of the most mobile painters I have ever seen.
Mobile painters.
Yes, you will paint, and minis will go everywhere, and fantastic stuff happens. Very mobile. Anne is probably the least mobile I've seen. She fixates in one spot, and her wrist can be in the same like degree turn for hours. It's kind of crazy.
You know, I have a general idea in my head of what I want to do with the miniature and what I want to paint on the miniature, but sometimes that changes. And sometimes, like, do I want to have purple hair here? Let's put purple on the hair and see how that kind of looks. I was thinking maybe initially kind of a dusky skin or that drow skin triad kind of for the hair, but I kind of like the bruised purple here. Maybe it'll end up changing. But, yeah.
No, I think the purple looks really good.
You like it? All right, we'll do that for now. I wanted to go back kind of on the Sergio topic a little bit, but it's more so, he's great. He was a fantastic instructor. He had a great attitude. But the thing is, if you guys are ever you're looking to level up, you're looking to get better, take classes from people. Watching videos and whatnot is great. It's awesome. I don't want to discourage anybody from doing that. But if you can get a live, face-to-face weekend workshop with somebody like Sergio or like whoever, take those kind of classes or even just at ReaperCon. You know, shameless plug here.
Michael Proctor.
Well, no, not just classes from me. I mean, classes from everybody, from Rhonda. I mean, and it's interesting. Rhonda and Derek Schubert and Aaron Lovejoy, those folks, all of us, everybody, all those names I just mentioned, all I'm not throwing myself in here. I'm just excluding myself. But those three great painters: Aaron Lovejoy, Derek Schubert, Rhonda Bender, all fantastic painters. All super high-level, award-winning painters. They all paint differently, and they apply the paint differently, and they have different approaches to things. So it's good to see that. It's good to watch people, and it's also good to watch other people actually, not just their final results, but actually watch them paint. Well, how do they get the paint on the model?
Ishtar, actually, we're not shooting anything tomorrow. Ishtar, we're not live tomorrow. I misspoke earlier. It's Wednesday, and the mini that we're painting could be a Bones 5 one. I'm not going to say that it's not. It may not be as well. We'll have to wait and see.
What, this is
kind of a surprise?
Huh?
We're talking about the ToolBox video for Wednesday.
Oh, for Wednesday.
With the surprise guest.
With the surprise guest.
Yeah, doing the wrong
Wow.
tees. Also, is it true? I heard a rumor that that the very first mini that Derek Schubert ever painted was actually gold level.
I wouldn't doubt it.
He is an absolute savant at everything.
Yes, he is. He's a child actor. He has his own commercial. He was in a commercial.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
What commercial? Because I know he's a man of many talents. Just having...
I want to say it was Hungry Hungry Hippos, but I'm sure it's wrong. But yeah, he was in a commercial. He's a sculptor. He's a painter. Award-winning on both. Gold medal, both. He's getting back into acting. He was a singer. He is an arborist.
I heard him sing at ReaperCon, this last ReaperCon.
Yes.
He was pretty good.
Oh, yeah. He's crazy. He's great. I like Derek.
A man of many talents.
Yeah, he is. He needs to do some of this stuff.
He also seems like an impossible person to dislike.
Yeah. I have never met anybody say anything bad about him.
Yeah, I don't...
I wish I had that talent. Impossible person to dislike. I don't think I have that
but
at all.
you're like overwhelmingly cool, Proctor. You're that cool guy. You know, the one that's like... They encourage everyone to smoke cigarettes in high school, but you don't actually smoke. Like, people saw you smoke and like, man, now we gotta smoke.
The guy that encouraged everybody to smoke.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know if I like that comparison. I liked where you were going up to that point, but then you kind of went off the rails.
The too cool for school guy.
Ooh. Dude, is drow nipple pink?
Oh, you know what? People would love if you used that.
Ooh, look at that. Let's use that. I didn't know it was in here.
People are going to get a little jealous.
I like it. I use it a lot.
Proctor is the Fonzie of Reaper. A little more actually cool.
Yeah. I appreciate the comment, but...
Not that Fonzie's not cool, guys. I don't want to fight anyone about Fonzie.
Yeah, we're not going to... So one trick, kind of... sideline brushing. Has Anne ever really talked about sideline brushing?
I think she has mentioned it a couple of times. I don't remember what she called it.
Right. We all have different little names for it. And then so you hear about dry brushing. You know, dry brushing, whatever. Dry brushing's wrong.
I dry brush everything.
Sideline brushing is really a controlled way of dry brushing.
So, I've heard a certain someone else talk about that, actually.
Right.
Maybe the guest for Wednesday. I've heard that person talk about it.
Well, I've probably learned that from them or whatever. But it's a good way to kind of pick out and use the side of your brush. And you've got a big surface. You want to just hit the edge of it, hit the line of it. And you can just kind of pick it out that way.
You know what? That's a good comparison. Did you watch Stranger Things?
Yes.
You're like Steve. You're the really, really cool, like, heroic dude.
Oh,
Steve, the one behind the ice cream counter.
Oh, yeah.
No one didn't like Steve.
I like
awesome.
Steve. Steve is cool.
He was kind of a not very awesome in the first season, but then came around.
Yeah, but I mean, Steve didn't go to college.
Oh, okay, fine. You're the brilliant Steve. The brilliant Steve.
We just finished watching the last season, my wife and I.
Wow, really? You guys restrained yourself that long?
Yeah. Well, we got into it, and God, this last season, we ended up really liking it, but it was really a bit of a struggle the first 3 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve, why are all your friends children? That's a little creepy, I know, right?
So yeah, I imagine you guys are busy frequently, so it's one of those things where you have to find time to do it. I
Yeah,
assume.
and I like to just sit down and we'll blast through them. You know, do one of those binge marathon kind of things.
Oh, a Celadon has a question there.
Okay.
I see you dip your brush into two different things before the wet paper towel. One is paint and the other is a thinner of some sort.
I don't have any thinner. It's just water. I don't use any kind of additive like that. I probably am maybe pulling in a two. Oh, so if it's off. It's out. Sorry, it's off camera. A lot of that is I may be pulling a couple of different paints together and mixing them on the palette.
Ah,
Yeah. If you want to zoom
camera.
out really quick. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but you'll see all the different various. Now there's colors running off the palette.
there it is. There is the famous Proctor Palette.
Yeah, it's a pretty worn palette. It's got paint on it for years and years and years building up.
Yeah, we're actually working on that cool old timer. We just don't have any. Currently, we don't have any sculptors that are local that are super willing. So.
Well, it's about sculptors coming on.
Yeah, someone asked about doing a sculpting toolbox.
Yeah. So most of the sculptors now are in ZBrush.
Yeah, if I
Right.
could find a way to, not find a way, I know how to, basically pipe in a feed from Gene, for instance.
Yeah.
So if Gene were willing to sculpt from the comfort of his own home and essentially feed me the live feed of it, I could actually broadcast it on our channel and kind of host a channel that
That's
way.
kind of cool.
A show.
Yeah,
I could
totally.
do that, so. But I got to get Gene to agree to it. No, I haven't
Hey,
asked
Aaron.
him yet.
Erin.
Corporea.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Oh, she wasn't here, was she?
No, she wasn't. She should have been. I think she was busy. I think
Oh.
I think Erin was busy.
Come on, Aaron. Unless you
Aaron's-
had a real good reason. Then,
Erin
you know.
rocked that Storm Giant,
Yes, she did.
right? You did a great job on that. That was so cool. It was a Cloud Giant. I'm sorry, it was Cloud Giant,
Oh, yes.
right?
Oh, those are good reasons, Corporea.
What'd she say?
She said working and niece's birthday.
Right. Well, she's got an important job.
Yes, she does, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know what her job was until this most recent ReaperCon. So pretty cool. Hey, don't tell Dave. I think it's cooler than my job.
Yeah. I think it's probably cooler than most people's jobs. It's more important.
It is incredibly important.
Yeah.
We're not saying what it is, Corporea, because we didn't know if you want it public.
Yeah.
Although I think she's actually said it on stream before now. that I
Has
think
she?
about it. Yeah, I think she has.
Okay.
She's told people.
I don't know. So what I'm doing right now, I know we got off on talking and I'm just painting, is I am using my blue liner and I'm really trying to come in under the chin, in some of the fat folds on his belly, right? And picking out some lines and really trying to get, if you could see it, adding a little more contrast pop. What I was talking about earlier, using that blue liner and really selling in the shadow areas and really knocking them back as much as we can.
Oh, I see that.
Don't be afraid to, the thing is, even like if you're kind of looking at this going, I'm going to try a couple of things that he's doing, practice with it. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. The only way to learn is to make mistakes, which I mean by making mistakes, I mean overdo it. We'll talk about that, and like when I do shaded metallics class or whatever, I'm like, okay, now it's time to do highlight, and everybody will start working on highlight, and they'll just do the shit out of the highlight.
I gotcha.
Excuse me.
No, that's
They'll just
fine.
really overwork the highlight, but that's what you're trying to do is work the highlight. So once you learn it, then you're like, oh, okay, now I can back off a little bit and really show what I'm trying to do. Sorry if this was asked previously, but what's the brush you're using at the moment? Right now I use Winsor Newton Series 7 brushes, both miniature and the regular ones. And generally I have various ages of size 0. So here's a newer size 0. And here is a really old size 0, right? And they lose their hairs, but they'll have a life cycle. And this is towards the end. This is my geriatric one. but it would be great for having super fine detail, maybe some freehand, and then also popping out some highlights as well. So yeah, I think Winsor Newton Series 7 is a great brush. Size 0 is probably my favorite. The miniature ones have a smaller kind of quill, and then do I have a regular one?
What's
here?
the average lifespan of one of those?
I'm really hard on my brushes, very hard. Probably all the way through, from the very beginning through all the way in, probably 6 months or so. And I clean them a lot with, soap and water, but also the brush cleaning soap, and put it out. And then this is hair, little weasel tail hair, but it's hair.
Oh, okay.
I'll condition them every now and then just to make sure they're nice and soft. But you want to get them nice and clean before you. Now, off camera is just me cleaning. I have a little bowl of water. So are we good on time, or
Actually,
how long have we been doing this?
We're a little over an hour at this point.
Okay.
So
I can continue to do it for whatever.
a few more minutes.
Yeah, why not? So is there any other questions out there?
Actually, what do you
What do I use?
Yeah.
What do I use to condition the brush after? I use Masterson's brush cleaner to clean the brush, but hair conditioner, whatever.
Any hair conditioner?
Any hair conditioner.
Do you leave it in for a while, or do you just wash and rinse and wash?
I'll rub it in, rub it into and then let it sit for a few minutes and then wash it out.
Okay.
Like you would do with your hair. What do you use to paint metallics? I heard you shouldn't use natural hair to paint with metals, but when doing fine work, that's hard not to. I use the same brushes. I have some dedicated brushes for metallic paints, and when I'm painting metallics and switching back and forth and doing shading, I'll have two water sources to clean the brush, and I'll use a specific brush. I try to, at least, have a brush dedicated to metallic paints, and another one where I'm painting with acrylics. So when I do metallics, if you watch one of the older videos, I'll have the metallic paint base coat, and then I'll go back to acrylics like the blacks or blue liners or browns or whatever, and I'll start working in the shadows, and that's what I call shaded metallics. A lot of people call it that. And then I'll come back up with my metallic brush that I've dedicated to paint with a metallic paint and paint in some highlights and whatnot. But most of my metallics are, say it's steel, I'll have a base coat of blue, throw on some steel color on top, and then I go back to, I won't use metallic paints again except for some cleanups and some highlights. I'll go into adding colors and everything and getting that worn metallic, shaded metallic kind of look. I don't have anything right around that I've done. But yeah, we'll do that.
All right.
Cool.
Awesome.
So I will continue to work on this guy and post it up on Clever Crow on Facebook and on Instagram as well. I haven't found the right setup in time for facepalm. I know Ed likes facepalm, but I haven't really done that yet. Maybe down the road I'll get there. So, but yeah.
I mean, if we got you, out of curiosity, if we got you technologically set up at your home,
Yeah.
would you be willing to paint from home and give me the stream or the feed, and then I can put it out?
That'd be cool.
Like
Yeah.
that idea? Are you
Yeah.
opposed?
Hey, can we talk? Can you and I talk while this is going on? Because I think that works really well.
Oh, really? Okay.
I was kind of afraid of just being the only guy there, right? And not having anybody to talk to.
Absolutely.
Being kind of creepy.
You could be like, do you have any animals?
I don't currently.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna get we're going to get a golden retriever here probably come spring.
You could be like
right?
you could be like Dave and just talk to your dogs.
I could.
Your dog, yeah.
Just have him sit right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
Yeah,
what Dave
but-
does.
it's an audience getter right there.
Yeah, right. But then getting a puppy to sit there once we get one, that'll be kind of hard to do.
We'll get you a puppy papoose.
Yeah, my Okaya dog would probably have sat there with us. Yeah.
And you'll be the guy painting with a puppy papoose.
Yeah.
And they won't pay any attention to the paint. But
Right, they'll just, and then the pup will be licking the miniature and everything. So yeah, so this is what, an hour?
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Well, then you want to go ahead and
Sign
kind
off.
of sign off, plug all your stuff.
All right.
We'll do one more look at the mini if you
All
want
right.
to show it. Look at that. That is an hour's worth, guys.
So nice little textures going on. A lot more work to do, of course, but it's a really cool miniature. If you didn't get into this level The little marsh troll bridge thing. That bridge is awesome. The little marsh troll in the water. This is a killer mini. I definitely get into this one. That's why I grabbed it. So, Clever Crow Studio on Facebook, on Instagram. Give it a like. Thank you.
Here's your Instagram again. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the channel.
Wow, I don't have a Twitch channel. That's what we just started talking about. Maybe. That just, that requires effort.
Because you do have a day job.
I do. I'd like to.
And here is his Facebook. So
I got
there's
a lot
the
of
two.
people started following me and it's just popping up my phone. That's really cool. I really do appreciate it. That's so cool.
There you go, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Take
you
care.
very much. Have a good night. We will see you Wednesday with a special guest.
Ooh.
Yes.
All right.
You want to give him a hint? I'll let you give him a hint.
It's Batman?
It's
Batman?
Yeah, it's
And
Batman.
I gotta leave and it's Batman?
Yeah, no, it happens, man.
It's not Batman, it's Wonder Woman. Right?
Yeah.
That's a clue. Oh, and they're I don't know what else another good clue would be. Oh, who painted from the last Kickstarter? Who painted the dice and
Oh, I know.
and those little cool dragons?
Oh,
Little
yeah.
ones, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a good clue.
So if people can want to work that out, they'll know who will be here
They'll
Wednesday.
know who'll be here.
You guys won't want to miss it, though.
Awesome.
Oh,
Thank you.
Okay, Corporia.
Thanks, Aaron, for ruining it.
Yeah, Aaron, come on. No, but okay, fine. Cat's out of the bag. It'll be Rhonda. 1 o'clock Wednesday.
Rhonda Bender.
I thought you were
Rhonda Bender.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be Ed. It's gonna be Ed.
Yeah, he did paint the big dice.
Yeah,
Did he?
yeah.
Yeah, he did. I think.
I thought you were taking a jab at him with the whole Wonder Woman thing.
All right, I'm gonna start our raid now.
All right, bye. Who are you rating?
We're rating Mocha
Ooh.
again.
Yeah.
Because why not? Because it's Mocha.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Do I get to see it?
Yes, you'll see it over here on this side. Wave goodbye one last time. Thanks, guys. You're
Late.
awesome, and we will see you Wednesday.